everyone, welcome along to Rockingham Motor Speedway for the final two rounds of the Design911.com Porsche Championship for 2011. I'm Richard John Neal and we've got two cracking races in prospect for you. The championship, of course, overall was wrapped up last time out. David Clark taking the title for the Boxsters, but the 924 battle on between Stephen Brown, Adam Croft and Alfred Piesinger. Clark confirmed as champion. Brown leads the 924s. Gerry Taylor's third overall. Then Rick Styrin. Alfred Piesinger second in the 924s. And Adam Croft sixth overall and third in the 924s. Richard Sykes on pole position with Gerry Taylor alongside, then Richard Styrin and John Logie row 2. Row 3, Mike Seller and Nick Hull, Guillaume Gruchet and Steve Boyles, Steve Brown 924 pole with Adam Croft, then Alfred Piesinger and Rebecca Jackson, Sean Siddle 13th with Mark McKenzie next from Paul Bravo and Anthony McVinsky, the grid completed by Alistair Wright and Stephen Potts. The cars on their green flag lap here at Rockingham, the International Super Sports Car Circuit, which runs at just over 2 miles long. And Richard Sykes will be hoping to out-psych the rest of them off the start. There is the 16 car of Gerry Taylor, who took 2 wins here when the championship visited back in July this year. Dave Clark taking second on both occasions. And as you can see, we've got a number of onboard cameras in the cars to guide us through. This is the 924 front runner, Alfred Piesinger's onboard. Adam Croft running second on the grid this weekend. He's got the onboard for us as well. This is a wide place to start here, and generally the rubber in the early part of the meeting's going down on the inside line, which sometimes means the outside get a better start. 18 cars on the grid. It's a superb way to finish the season, and this massive arena, which can cater for 40-odd thousand people, always tends to look on the empty side for what we call national race meetings, but the action is going to be absolutely superb. Disappointing start from John Logie, the white car. I think that was Logie who had a slow start, and away they go. Cracking start though by Richard Styrin, who goes through into lead position on turn 1. Gerry Taylor in second. Third place is Richard Sykes. There we look at Mike Seller in yellow looking up the inside of Nick Hull, the black and green car, but as they come out of the Dean hairpin for the first time, it's Richard Styrin that leads. Gerry Taylor in second position. Then in third position, it's Richard Sykes. This is a replay of, look at Styrin, very quick off the mark. I said that the outside was quick, and he did it up the middle, was very, very quick. Gerry Taylor was on the outside of the front row. Look at him look across. He's very much aware of Richard Styrin coming into turn 1. The sun's starting to get a little bit low here, which can make conditions difficult, viewing conditions difficult for the drivers. Through turn 1 up to the Dean hairpin for the first time, and this is the 924 start. Alfred Piesinger third on the grid. And you can see Guillaume Gruchet just a little bit slow away, gets up through the gears eventually, and Guillaume catches up, to be fair to him, with his fellow racers. Now Alfred Piesinger challenging for second up the inside of Adam Croft. We'll see the black car possibly come across as they come up to Dean. Hard on the brakes now. Piesinger's looking up the inside. Normally you see a hatload of cars go off here. I've commentated at this circuit many times. Oh, hello, a little bit of a flick there from Alfred. Oh, a little bit of contact there with Adam Croft. Oh, and fourth position, a spin for Nick Hull. He was running so well, Nick Hull. The 46-year-old from Harrogate takes a spin. Managing director of his own company, did a bit of Rotax Max karting, and was a champion in karts, but not going to be a champion today. He's going to rejoin and have a good fight out of it. But we go back on board with Gerry Taylor, still chasing Richard Styrin out front. Gerry working hard, fastest lap 1 minute 40.826, an average of 73.19 miles per hour. So Richard Sykes still in third place, and then a little bit of a gap back. Mike Seller in 33 goes through. Then it's the 74 car of Guillaume Gruchet. Originally came from France, as the surname suggests, and he's been in the UK since '98. And he's enjoying his racing. He said his ambition at the start of the year was to try and keep up with the pack. He's certainly doing that, no problem at all, and he's coming under pressure from the 40 car of John Loggy, who's looking up the inside as they go up towards Dean. So Loggy, I think, has got the line here. Inside of Gruchet and up into 5th position. Great manoeuvre by him. Mike Seller still ahead of him. Mike, the man from 46-year-old from Sittingbourne, runs a truck and car accident repair company down there, and he's done so for many years. Oh, and a problem there for the number 9 car of Alistair Wright, newcomer to the championship. Those of you who perhaps have the design911.com calendar to hand might be wondering why we're here at Rockingham and not at Donington Park. Well, the Donington were unable to host the last meeting due to a change of ownership and change in council regulations at the circuit. So Rockingham very kindly stepped into the breach and offered us this meeting as we went briefly on board with Adam Croft. Look at this, Sean Siddle and Mark McKenzie side by side for 4th position in the 924s out of turn 4. And Siddle holding on to it at the moment in the 11 car, as Mark McKenzie has got ahead of Sean Siddle. So this is good stuff. Mark McKenzie up into 4th place in 924s. Sean Siddle in 5th position in car number 11. As the race leaders, the trio are closer than ever, you've got to say, into the S's. Richard Sykes takes a very, very wide line there. Down Steel Straight, Gerry Taylor, I think, had a quick look in his mirror there to see where Richard Sykes was. Are we going to see an attack here from Sykes? No, we're not. We've got back marker traffic as well. This is a dangerous time for the leaders because the back markers will not intentionally get involved. But Sykes having a good look there. Sykes really having a go up the inside of Gerry Taylor. So into School Straight, back markers looming again for the race leaders. Let's have a quick look, see if we can see in the distance. Blue flags being waved at the back marking cars. Oh, bang! A wallop there, Gerry Taylor gets hit by Rick Styrin, I'm not sure. Well, it definitely wouldn't have been intentional from Richard Sykes for sure, because none of these drivers are like that, but I'm wondering if potentially the back marker inadvertently played a part in that. I'll say nobody wants to cause damage, but Sykes winds up walloping the 2nd place car and he's now up into 2nd position. Gerry Taylor down to 3rd. Nick Hull has now got himself up ahead of Steve Boyles. So Boyles, the 31-year-old, has been passed. Wide line from Nick Hull, who's trying to get back on terms with the pack after his moment on the grass earlier on. Side by side they go across the line, and this battle at the moment for 7th position in the race, and it looks like Boyles has got it back. So Boyles back into 7th place, and there is the 60 car of Steve Brown who leads this one, and he's going to take the championship if things stay the way they are. 29 points separating the pair coming into this race, and 52 points available on the championship. If he wins this one, he will have 30 points. Beg your pardon, no, if he wins this one, he'll have 29 points between himself and the 2nd place man in the championship, and there are only 26 points left as the race winner takes the checkered flag. Richard Styrin takes the win. 2nd position on the road is Richard Sykes. 3rd position is going to go to Gerry Taylor from John Loggy in the 924 win, and the championship for the 924s is going to go to Stephen Brown, the new champion in the 924s. Well, the news from the clerk's office is that Taylor's going to get 2nd position, and it's an exclusion for Richard Sykes. Confirmation of the result for the Boxsters. Rick Styrin winning that one from Gerry Taylor. John Loggy 3rd from Mike Seller. Guillaume Gruchet in 5th place, and Steve Boyles in 6th.
Great race yesterday. For me personally, one of the best of the season. The 3 of us in qualifying, there was nothing at all. There was 2.5 tenths between 1st and 3rd. So any one of the 3 of us could have won the race yesterday.
I was 2nd on the grid, Rick 3rd on the grid. Richard Sykes is normally the very, very fastest guy away from the line, but yesterday was Richard Styrin. I mean, they made a fantastic start. I got past Sykes, so I'm now in line 2nd, and it's hard as I tried, I just could not get past Rick. He drove brilliantly.
A couple of laps before home, I had a fairly aggressive overtaking move on Gerry Taylor, team manager. Little bit of contact. Finished the race second, which I was delighted with. Unfortunately, then the stewards deemed that I was too aggressive, excluded me from that race, gave me 4 points on my licence and put me to the back of the grid for race 2.
In the 924, Steve Brown seals the championship with a win from Adam Croft and Alfred Piesinger in third. Sean Siddle takes fourth position after a great race-long scrap with Mark McKenzie, who came fifth, with Rebecca Jackson rounding off the top 6.
Qualified on pole and then won the race by about 2 car lengths from Adam Croft. Today's race, just can't wait to get out there now. I'm so relaxed, all the pressure's gone off me. Just want to get out there and have a good race.
Okay, so a great race yesterday, started second on the grid. We had a good battle into the first corner. One of the Boxsters was a bit slow getting away, which meant that Steve and I went to either side of him. I think we were side by side into turn 1 and then managed to hold on to second place from there.
Well, yesterday was a fairly lonely race for me because Steve and Adam were running away by sort of half a second per lap. And they didn't engage really in sort of battling with each other, so I decided to save the equipment a little bit.
With so much racing going on in the world, you'd have to be a four-headed monster to keep up with it all. Luckily, we have that. Join Peter Keane, Bill Wood, Errol Tucker, and their guest driver analyst each week for an opinionated look at the news coming out of the racing world. Remember, it's GoRacingTV.com for all your racing and video needs.
Pole position in this one, Rick Styrin with Gerry Taylor alongside. Then it's John Logie and Mike Seller. Guillaume Gruchet and Steve Boyles row 3. Nick Hull and Richard Sykes on row 4. The 924, Stephen Brown and Adam Croft. Then Alfred Piesinger and Sean Siddle. Mark McKenzie and Rebecca Jackson, followed by Paul Bravo and Anthony McVinsky. Alistair Wright and Stephen Potts completing the grid. And we're getting ready for the last race of the season here for the Design911.com Porsche Championship at Rockingham. Cracking start from pole position by Richard Sykes. He really loves starting here. You can see the extra rubber down on the inside of the circuit here, and Styrin makes it count. Gerry Taylor in second position. Third position is Mike Seller, so a good start from Seller up into third. As they go down towards the Dean hairpin for the first time, we go on board with Gerry Taylor in second position. Now bear in mind what I said in race 1, normally we see some shenanigans up at Dean the first time. We don't see it between the leaders, and they've all made it through again. Replay of the start from Gerry Taylor. Styrin gets away well. Again, you've got to admire Gerry Taylor. We saw this on race 1, very aware. You see him looking over, wants to make sure he knows where everybody is, doesn't want any damage off the start for him or anybody else. Very aware. This is the view from Alfred Piesinger. Third in the 924s. Adam Croft in black gets away well, but Stephen Brown, car on the left in front of us, goes down the inside through turn 1. Piesinger tries to follow through. Now, is he going to be able to make that stick? This is the view from the car and he's outside. Adam Croft. Piesinger comes up the inside in red. Can you see him there in second? Out front it's Stephen Brown in 60. And this is where they turn into Dean. This is where we said you sometimes get the damage. And Piesinger and Croft had a little bit of a coming together in race 1. Now, whereabouts is Alfred at the moment? The answer is coming under a bit of pressure there from Guillaume Gruchet, who goes ahead of him, and I was wondering if we're into lapping territory already, but we're not. So Gruchet manages to go through. This is the view from Adam Croft. Piesinger in front of him. The red 924, the furthest red 924 in the distance, is Steve Brown, the leader. So Crofty still back in third position, and Alfred Piesinger second in class at the moment. The 53-year-old who comes from Poole in Dorset, running in the car prepared by Victoria Motorsport. And Alfred, who raced in Indonesia from 96 to 2002 in a one-make touring car championship, acquitting himself well in the 924s again this year. 5th in the 924s last year, despite having missed 4 races. Gerry Taylor still there in 2nd position. Up into 3rd now is Rick, and there's a problem for Taylor, who takes an unusual line there. Taylor's stopping. Gerry Taylor's stopping on circuit. Richard Sykes is up into 2nd place. Cracking drive from Sykes, through from 8th on the grid. And it doesn't look like Taylor's going to be able to get the car back to pit road or paddock. That is bitter disappointment for Gerry Taylor. Into the Dean hairpin. Croft taking a wide line in. That's so he can get a better run on the exit. And he's looking down the inside line here. That's going to convert to the outside as they come down into Yentwood corner. Here they come then, outside line for Croft here. No, it's not going to work for him, and he's going to slot back in. Sometimes you can get a run here, so you can take a wide line into Yentwood and then pop up the inside at Yentwood, and that converts to the inside at Chapman Curve where they are now. Now they're going through Piff Paff. Left-hander, and here comes Croft up the inside. Piesinger gets it a little bit crossed up, and Croft goes through back into 2nd position. Fantastic stuff from Adam Croft. Those two drivers having a great scrap in the 924s as we go back to the Boxsters. Steve Boyle and Nick Hull side by side, racing down towards the Brook S's at the end of School Straight. And it's Boyles in car number 77 that's got the position at the moment. Boyles in 5th position. Then down behind him, Nick Hull. These two very evenly matched here around Rockingham. We saw that in race 1, and we're seeing it once again in race 2, which is very, very good to see indeed. There we get confirmation of Adam Croft. Good job, Nick Hull takes a spin. Oh, Nick Hull was dicing very, very hard for position there with Steve Boyles, and takes a spin. I don't know if there's some oil perhaps down there. There's the 2nd place man in the 924s as Stephen Brown in the distance heads off. Back with Alfred Piesinger hanging on to that 3rd position in the 924s. So down into the hairpin, and through goes Sean Siddle's through into 3rd place. Sean Siddle takes it, but Alfred Piesinger's going to fight back. Side by side, Alfred's got the line as they come down into Yentwood. Drifts slightly wide, and there's a bit of contact between the two. You heard the crunch there, and Siddle's light will have gone as a result of that. But we go back and look at the battle for the lead. This is very much on now between Richard Styrin and Richard Sykes. Sykes, who has started 1st and last in both of the races this weekend, and a little bit sideways for Styrin, and Sykes is right on him now. Now, can Richard Sykes get past Richard Styrin? It suggests that maybe Styrin's tyres might be going off. Well, they have a hard time of it, but there is the checkered flag, and just holding another lap, you've got to say, and Richard Sykes might have had that one, but Richard Styrin takes 2 out of 2. It's a double at the last weekend for him, a superb drive from 8th position. Here's the scrap down the order, Nick Hull and Steve Boyles. Hull takes a shortcut there across the S's, so Hull's going to take 5th position. John Logie is ahead of him in 4th. We mentioned that Mike Seller was 3rd, Logie 4th, Nick Hull takes 5th position, Stephen Boyles in 6th place in the Boxsters. Guillaume Gruchet will take 7th overall and in the Boxsters, but Steve Brown's on his way to another class win in the 924s. Confirmation of the Boxster results, Richard Styrin taking the win from Richard Sykes, who gets fastest lap. Mike Seller on the podium, best result of the year for him, in 3rd from John Logie. Nick Hull in 5th place and Stephen Boyles in 6th.
That was one of the best races of the season for me, a really good start. Me and Gerry were going away nicely from the group, and then about 3 or 4 laps I think Gerry had a problem. I don't know what's happened to him. Then I thought I had a nice gap, and then I spotted Richard Sykes coming, and then he put his lights on and I thought he's coming, so I tried to maintain the gap, and then towards the end things like the tyres start to go off, your brakes go a bit, so the key was not to make a big error because Richard drove exceptionally well and he was catching me at the end, so 2 victories. I'm absolutely delighted.
Well, it's quite an enjoyable race despite starting back of the grid or back of the Boxsters. Eventful first lap, got up to 3rd, then outbraked myself, caused myself a few problems, and then gradually just picked my way back through the field and a few incidents. Fortunately, Gerry Taylor didn't finish, and then I was just chasing Richard down, but I couldn't quite catch him, so I enjoyed it despite being put to the back of the grid this morning.
Good start, great start off the grid, and obviously went into the second corner into the hairpin, which was carnage, a lot of cars. Ian outbraked himself, so just ended up stuck behind that pack. Followed through into the little chicane complex, and it was just bedlam again. Tyres everywhere.
That's motor racing. That's how everybody normally ends up with their little story, but I'm going to start mine with that. This old car finished last season with a blown engine, and I think I've done the same again today. Not really sure. Coming off the banking after the 5th lap, I heard a bit of a rumble, thinking it might have been an exhaust note. Pushed on a little bit, the rumble got louder. I decided to switch off. Not 100%, but I'm pretty certain it's an engine gone. C'est la vie.
Here's the championship positions then in the Boxsters. Dave Clark confirmed as champion, Richard Sykes in 2nd from Gerry Taylor, Steve Boyles in 4th from Mike Seller, and David Bierman in 6th. The race result for the 924s looks like this. Stephen Brown the winner from Adam Croft, and Alfred Piesinger in 3rd. Sean Siddle in 4th ahead of Mark McKenzie, with Anthony McVinsky in 6th place.
So, fantastic repeat of yesterday really, where I was on pole position and steamed off ahead to the first corner. It was a bit closer with Adam and Alfred right on my tail and Boxsters all around us, but they were busy fighting each other and I basically pedalled off ahead. So fantastic race, and nice to see all the championship at this meeting as well. Really good.
Yeah, very entertaining race, very much like yesterday. Alfred managed to do me off the start, so I was tucked up behind him, desperate to get past, because obviously we were equal on points in the standings, so it was all to play for, and I was just desperate to get past, so he managed to keep me at bay for a good few laps. A bit of a wily old fox with his racecraft, and then I managed to make a move. I think we had a slight bit of paint rubbing, but nothing too serious, and then started to try and close Steve down after that, but he was just that little bit too far ahead, but wrapped up 2nd place in the championship, so I'm very happy.
Oh, as the 2 guys said, fantastic race today. I had a very good start. Steve is always a little bit slow in starting.
Faster than you, though, pal.
But I couldn't catch him in the first corner, but I managed to pass Adam. And what Adam said, it was really difficult to keep him off, because he definitely was faster today, for sure. And, you know, being an old fox as well, after the piff puff, he managed to pass me, and that was it. It was 3rd position for me. Really, congratulations to Adam. I think you deserve 2nd place and of course the champion.
Well, the camaraderie is what it's all about. Stephen Brown taking the title, Adam Croft 2nd, and Alfred Piesinger, the man we just heard from, in 3rd place. Mark McKenzie was 4th, Sean Siddle in 5th position, those 2 close in the table as they were on track, and Jason Flegg rounding off the top 6. The overall championship, Dave Clark taking that from Steve Brown, Rick Starr in 3rd, Gerry Taylor 4th from Adam Croft, Alfred Piesinger in 6th. That's all from us on the Design911.com Championship. Join us for the season review in a few weeks' time.